What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the 1894. I'm Dara. I have Joe with me here today to discuss the 1-0 battering, as many people are pointing out, of Chelsea. It's happened again. 2 1-0 batterings in a row, Joe. Give me your thoughts on this now.
It was almost a complete carbon copy of the first game, if not Chelsea turned up and played more like terrorists this time than last time, and they needed the win more this time. Because last time we played them, they were above us, and they could have maybe afforded to lose that game at that point. But this time they needed to come and they needed to win to keep their title hopes alive, and they came and did like one shot on target and dipped. I think you said they had more offsides than shots, which is absolutely disgraceful if you ask me, for a team who should be in a title race. I mean, domination from start to finish. Passing was a bit sloppy at times, especially after we just scored, which can be understandable, a bit of adrenaline here and there. But overall, the Chelsea didn't trouble us at all.
Yeah, look, I was honestly right. I didn't get the score prediction right. I said 3-0. I was a bit overselling it. But it was a game that everyone knew how it was going to be. We knew we'd go out. We knew we'd have most of the ball. We knew they'd be sitting back. We'd try to find that. And look, again, he looked very good today, Kevin De Bruyne. And it's one of those guys that we said, when a team are sitting back, when a team are trying to sit back and counter, this game can make him flourish. And he was really, really good today. Other than the set pieces, I think me and Joe have agreed that other than the set pieces, he was fucking great. I was really happy with De Bruyne. And his goal was fantastic. It's worth as per the XG philosophy, it's worth 0.03 expected goals, which is just unbelievable. Joe, quick thoughts on him.
He's caught Kepa out completely with the strike. Kepa's shifted himself to his right and the strike's gone to his left, and he can't adjust quickly enough to get to the ball. I think he possibly could have done a bit better, but I don't think anyone in the stadium was expecting him to just shoot from there. I wasn't expecting it, certainly, when I watched it, but he did, and he scored. And again, set pieces weren't great, but nobody's set pieces were great. Foden took a corner that went out straight for a goal kick at one point. We had about 10 corners and none of them worked at all. Set pieces in general from everyone at the club just need to get better. I don't know what it is. It's not just a De Bruyne thing. It's an everyone thing. No one seems to be able to take one. I remember at one point, I think it was around the 60th, maybe 70th minute, he had a free kick sort of left-hand side of the box, and I'm like, if he crosses this, I don't know what he's doing. He should just shoot. And he shot, and Kepa had to tip it behind for a corner, which again came to nothing. It was a corner, but I'm glad he shot. I was screaming at him to just hit one instead of cross it, because it just wasn't working. And he had an all-round good game, which he hasn't had for a long time.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really happy with him. It's actually funny about the set pieces and corners, because me personally, I'd consider Tommy Doyle to be the best set piece taker at the club, and he's fucked off out to Germany at the minute. I'm not sure what his story is at the minute, but other than that, I thought it was a really, really strong performance. And just to mention the centre backs, I said when the team news got leaked that don't worry, these two centre halves can still play football. Diaz is not the be all and end all. It felt like everyone had forgotten they could kick a football very good, and they were fantastic today. Joe, give me the stats there. But I said it before, I wasn't nervous going into it when I saw the lineup, and they were fantastic. Joe, give us them stats.
So the stats are Aymeric Laporte 5 aerial duels contested, 5 aerial duels won, Stones 4 contested, 4 won. So that's 9 in total against the likes of Lukaku, who is a big, big player. He is very big. And they've come out with 100% aerial duels won. It's mental. And now I know Laporte is framed for his aerial ability because he's just so tall, but Stones is not.
Can I just sorry, Joe, to cut over you. I've met Laporte. He is about that height compared to me, right? The man is 6 foot. The man is minimum 6'5". Like, they have him down as like 6 feet. He's 6'5". He's fucking huge.
He's absolutely huge, and I've got it on record, so I can't remember which video it was, but I've said he's the best aerially at the club that we've got, because he's so tall. Stones is not renowned for his aerial ability. He's not as much as the other centre halves. Even Ake, I'd say, is a little bit better. Even though he's short, he can jump really, really high, and even he came out with 100%. It was total domination from the centre backs. Lukaku didn't even get a sniff in that game, and I totally understood when both of them were picked that in the first 5 minutes, they'd both clipped a long ball in behind that had got us in behind the Chelsea defence, running on goal. That's exactly what Stones has picked for. Diaz is not a natural ball-playing centre-back. He's not. He's an out-and-out defender. Now, he can play with the ball because you have to in a Pep system. He's adapted to that. But Stones is more natural to it. So you understand why he was picked. And it worked. They played really well both defensively and also contributing to actually, building up for an attack, of which we had many and probably should have scored probably one more. I think there was a certain someone who might have missed one.
Yeah. Look, it though. Like, there's not really much we can say other than getting into the player range. Because I thought genuinely overall it was a really good performance happened there. But Edison gets an 8. I thought he was fine. Again, there wasn't much to do. They had more offsides and shots. Edison's just again consistent enough. Then Cancelo and Laporte got 9. Thought they were great. Cancelo going forward was great. Again, none of these had much to do defensively. The 2 centre halves, 9. Stone's got an 8 as well. Their passing, like Joe said, their passing was outstanding. And again, area went like you don't. It's not like, I know it sounds like a broken record. Chelsea didn't do much, but they contributed a lot more offensively than any of Chelsea's forwards, and they're sitting back. It's such a good team to watch, and it all builds from the back going forward. We're so fluid, and I think at the back it just that right. So it's basically it's in 3 8s and 2 9s. Joe, what did you think of the defence?
Not much to do, but because of the fact that, you know, they helped contribute so much in attack, they get the high ratings. Edison had a 1-on-1 save that he made with Lukaku. I think it was 0-0 at the time. It was a big save that he made. Yeah. He had a couple more things to do. Nothing really. He wasn't troubled. They had one shot on target. It was, pretty easy for him. And the one shot on target he saved. So, easy pickings. Cancelo a 9. He was outstanding on the left-hand side. We'll get into him a little bit later on, but he was the main outlet on the left-hand side because Grealish just wasn't that great today. Again, not to knock him or anything. I mean, of course, it's going to take a while to adapt, but I was puzzled to see him start over someone like Gundogan today. I thought Gundogan probably should have played. It's a bit puzzling for me, but Cancelo was the main threat on the left-hand side constantly. The balls into the half space to De Bruyne on that left-hand side every single time. We always talk about the space in between the wing-back and the wide centre half, the half space. De Bruyne, whether it was De Bruyne, Bernardo, Grealish, Foden, even Sterling. Sterling was absolutely superb. Again, we'll get to him later on. Those little half pockets, those little half spaces. The balls in from Cancelo was superb. He did it every single time. Chelsea just didn't know how to react to it. And then, obviously, Laporte and Stones covered them. The aerially superb, with the ball superb as well. It makes it tough for Chelsea. They have to be perfect with the press with 2 centre halves who are comfortable on the ball. Because if they don't, if they're like half a second too late, they're not going to get the ball because these 2 centre halves are so comfortable and they know what they're doing on the ball and they know where they want it to go. So yeah, I was a bit, with Stones in the first 5 minutes, I was like, as long as he has a good first 5 minutes, because the amount of football he hasn't played recently, I think he'll be all right. And he did. He got sat down once. It was all right for the rest of the game. He didn't really have much to do again. And then Walker was just, we know he's not going to attack too much. He's not the attacking fullback that Cancelo is, or maybe even a Trent who is fighting with him for that England space. But and whatever he had to do, he did it. Marcus Alonso was playing down that side, got booked early on, but he's the more attacking at the 2 fullbacks, so he was getting down that line a lot more. And he dealt with it well, He dealt with whatever came down that side really well. His recovery pace again bailed him out, but we know that always happens.
Yeah, I think a player with that recovery pace can afford to take a few more risks. I always hear this calamitous shout. He's not calamitous, he's far from it. But going into midfield again, that last section is so hard to talk about. You can't talk about defenders in a game like that. Purely from the defensive standpoint, you can't talk about them because they had nothing to do. It just, again, it proves this is why Chelsea aren't going to be a sustainable team across the 38-game season, because they don't attack, they sit back like Burnley, and we've said it so many times now. But getting over that and going into the midfield, Rodri gets an 8 again. He's just getting constant 8, and I'm sure for any other holding midfield, he'd be pushing a 9 or 10. He just breaks everything down. It's fantastic. Gundogan, Jesus Christ. De Bruyne and Bernardo both getting 9s again. De Bruyne got the goal and was great in his build-up play everywhere, getting in that little space, like Joe said, the little pocket between the wing back and centre half, which is great. He's playing more advanced. He's basically playing in the nearly 4-4-2 where we ended up in. He's just superb. Today he was really, really good. He must have watched the video. He must have watched all 47 minutes of our video. And then, I should ask you, Joe, what about the midfield before I get into the forwards?
Again, Rodri, a more defensive player, obviously playing in the 6 like he normally would. Not really much to do. I made a joke earlier on in the day that Chelsea shouldn't have to worry about the virus because they're so damn negative. But it's the truth. He didn't have much to do defensively. He was playing in a midfield 3 against a midfield 2, and when I say a midfield 3, it was really a midfield 4 because we always play with a false 9, so we absolutely outnumbered them in the midfield. That's why we won the game. Let's be honest. We always say it: control the midfield, control the game, and we did. That's what happens when you only play 2 players in there. I know Kante and Kovacic work really hard on and off the ball, and they could probably count for 3 players, just them 2. But it still wasn't enough to compete with our midfield. Like I said, De Bruyne and Bernardo, those little half spaces, the pockets, picking them up. Bernardo Silva again playing as the false 9 1 minute, playing as the DM the next minute, exactly the same as he was at the Bridge, just up and down the pitch, constantly winning the ball back, slide tackling. His tackling is very underrated. He's not afraid to go in and challenge for the ball. He really isn't, and he won it more times than not. And then De Bruyne, obviously, he won us the game overall. His overall play was superb. Again, we said this in the De Bruyne video, as long as he keeps it more simple and then tries these little, these like lower success rate passes when he's got the chance to, when he should do, when he's got nothing else to play, or maybe when he thinks it's more on, then he should do it. And he did. There was a few times where he'd flash one across the 6-yard box and there was just no one there, which, again, kind of story of the last few seasons, really, that the winger's just not there at the back post to tap it in. But he did that multiple times today. He didn't try and do an early whipped cross that would just get cleared by the first man. He actually worked it down the line in the half space, and that's what made him so good this game.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Having said all that in the midfield, and again, De Bruyne he was outstanding today. It's really good. This could be the turning point. This could be the point where he's built up a few goals, he's built up the stat pads. This could be where he turns them into good, sustainable performances where he won't be dropping the team at all. But then going into the front 3 now, I was about to say, I was nearly about to say that we seem to have a game plan set over Chelsea, and I think that is true from the defence to the midfield. When it gets to the forward line, now obviously he was drifting out now and again, but Foden in the Bridge was on the left, Grealish through the middle, and at the time Jesus was on the right? But usually we've caught them out by saying they play wide, we'll play like that. We'll have a left foot on the left, a right foot on the right, and it wasn't how we played today. Now Grealish was on the left, and I do think that look, we always talk about how shit Chelsea are going forward, or sorry, how negative they are, I think is the word you use. But defensively, they're superb. We can't knock that at all, and that's what Grealish is coming up against. Again, he had to keep cutting in. He doesn't really have a left foot. He had to keep cutting in again. Wasn't working. I think if Foden was out on that left more, so it would have been a lot better. But I think that will speak for Grealish only getting a 7 in comparison to the rest, while Foden, again, was drifting out and looked a lot better on the left. And again, he even looked good going through the middle. But the man we have to talk about, again, fresh off his player of the month with Raheem Sterling, absolutely superb. He had Alonso on toast, I think is the term Joe used. He had him on toast. He had him booked after about 15-20 minutes. It was a maul on the job.
Oh, where to start with Sterling? I think we saved that one till last and just talk about the little downer that is Grealish. I'm going to be really harsh here, but really kind at the same time. I am giving him time. I think 7's a little bit generous. There were moments where he would get down the line and do the same thing, just flash one, across the floor, see if it just bundles in somehow, which again, if it's not coming off for you, sometimes that's all you need to do, even if it's an own goal or comes off the keeper, or even if the keeper just claims it, do something, make something happen, attempt something. And he did. And there's a few times where he did get past a few defenders, but then there was also sometimes where he'd get to the byline and then just turn around and start going backwards and jockeying backwards and then just pass it off to Cancelo. It's really not a great look for him to be doing that. He really needs to be at least more direct, at least try it, because we know he can, because he'll either get fouled or he'll get past him, and if he loses the ball, he loses the ball. It's up to him to press and win it back. We press as a team, we win the ball back high. We did it multiple times. We robbed Kante or Kovacic or whoever multiple times during the game, so because our press was so good, so we could afford to maybe lose it a couple more times, especially at the start of the game. I was really puzzled to see him out on the left, and I don't think it really worked too well. And then Foden, again, he's incredible. His touch, his close control, his dribbling is mesmerising. There was one point in the first half where he took 5 Chelsea players out of the game by one dribble, and I think he got a corner out of it in the end. But that just shows you what he can bring off the left-hand side. That's why I think him and Grealish should have swapped over, because when he picked up the ball, he was on the left-hand side, and he genuinely must have taken half the Chelsea team out with one dribble and won a corner from it. That's why I think they should have been switched. But Foden was still good through the middle regardless. It's just, we would have gotten more out of Grealish, and again, Grealish probably should have scored that chance that he got against Kepa. It's a good save by Kepa. He's made himself big, but if we're being harsh, he probably should score that. And then Sterling is the man of the match. I'm pretty sure De Bruyne got it for the broadcasters because he's got the winner. Which is, it's fair enough. I think he's up there for it. I think, if he got it, I can't argue with it. He scored the winner and he had an overall good game. But for me, Sterling was absolutely incredible. World class. He is back. There's like genuine tears in my eyes when I'm saying he's back. It's incredible. Alonso couldn't touch him in that first half. He couldn't get close. He had him booked. He was all over the place, Alonso. He was getting torn about all over the place. His pace, his acceleration, getting down the line. He wasn't afraid to take it to the byline and then just cut it back to someone. And again, he's just not afraid to take people on anymore. He has that confidence about him again, and I'm really, really glad to see it because it's paying off and he's getting us more chances, and it's helping us, and long may it continue.
Yeah, it's as simple as the way he's adapted his game to the system is just unreal. And again, it's rubbing off on players. I think Pep said it was obviously in his head. I think he's bringing a whole new brand of mentality. He's bringing it to De Bruyne, where De Bruyne says, "Oh, he's changed his ways. I can adapt to this if Sterling's adapting to this," and he has seemed to adapt to it because again, he was fantastic today, and I think he was a good candidate for man of the match. But come on, man, Sterling's fantastic. But look, we'll leave it there. Right, we'll wrap it up. There's really not much to say about the match. I don't know how we've got as long as we did, but that's not what you talk about. Leave a like. Is the title over? That's no. Go on. Let's see it's out there.